Look into your crystal ball, if you have one, Jeff. What are the outcome of these remaining officers, their cases? How do you think the outcome's going to go with this?
Well, if justice is done, none of them will be convicted. The prosecution cannot make the case they're attempting to make in this instance. They're grasping at straws, and they have been from the very beginning. Legal scholars on both sides of the political ideological spectrum have said the same thing about this prosecution.
And even watching, looking at photographs, listening to witness testimony, and as the judge found in Nero's case, he did not do anything wantonly reckless. He completely acted within his professional authority. He didn't do anything above or beyond that. And they were completely within their rights when they detained him, and he was in the back of the van. I mean, what do you make of the theories that it was Freddie Gray kind of jumping around in the back of the van and kind of having a fit, that ultimately that's how he ended up hurting himself? What do you make of those theories?
Well, it's absolutely a possibility. I've seen it happen over and over again in my police career. Guys beating their heads against the cage in a police car, beating their heads against the windows of a police car, beating their heads against the bars in a prison cell. This is not uncommon, and the prosecution, again, has to prove that these injuries weren't self-inflicted, and they have in no way proved that. This is just this is political prosecution, and the charges are based on nothing but a hunch.
I've watched Cops. That's one of my favorite shows. I've seen exactly what you're talking about. I remember I saw this one guy who was arrested. He had enough drugs. He had enough cocaine on him that they determined that he was distributing it. He was selling it. And they put him in the back of the car, and he beat his head so hard on that window, he knocked himself out. He hit part of the frame of the car, knocked himself out, bloodied himself up. And you would think that some of these people out here protesting today, that they would be trying to admonish the police for what this particular person had done. It's insane. It makes police officers, and I can't underscore this enough, and Jeff, you deal with this in your line of work, it makes police officers hesitate to do their job. When cops hesitate, particularly in volatile situations, that's the difference between life or death.
Yes, and certainly if this prosecutorial theory that a wrongful arrest is an assault and that the officer is culpable for anything that happens after that, if the court had bought that, you would have seen law enforcement all across America shut down immediately, because the cops are already in danger of being murdered by the people that they deal with, of being sued by them, and to say that if anybody thinks you got it wrong, you're automatically guilty of a crime would have had a chilling effect on law enforcement in this country.